chapter 3 verse 2. And further, we are in the world, but not of the world. John chapter 17 verse 16. It is true that we are in the world, but we want to see members of C.B.I.U, the youth of C.B.I.U, as a model to the decaying world of today, especially in the aspect of the youth, generally speaking, globally speaking. That means that the C.B.I.U youth must be different from the general youth of the world. Rather, we shall be sort of role model to them. They should emulate us. I have to imbibe those good qualities that will make them to see something good in us. When they see us, they say it is good to worship the Lord. That's why I started all this biblical quotation. I know with time you get this, but I'm not going to hand it over to them because the points are scattered. So we have to make a difference in all facets and phases of life. That's actually what the theme captures. Do something different. Make a difference. Do something, make a difference. So we have to make a difference in all facets and phases of life. The scripture in the book of Genesis says, increase and multiply and subdue the earth. That's subdue the earth. That phrase, I highlighted it here. Subdue the earth. So the phrase subdue the earth could variously be translated as to transform, to improve, to harness the earth. Put in another way, we are by this injunction called to be co-creators with God in perfecting the environment. So Pope Francis wrote an encyclical known as Laudato Si. He's talking about we and our environment. So when you begin to read that encyclical, you can even browse it on the internet. Click Laudato Si. Is that an expression of Pope Francis? It will give you, you can read it within a day. Being sensitive to our environment, because we are imbibing the culture of destroying the environment. Destroying, maybe. We are felling trees every day without planting new ones. We are exposing the earth's surface to erosion. Because people want to make money, they are felling trees and they converting that into charcoal without planting new ones. We are destroying the environment. Okay. It will be necessary to correct the impression that Christianity is associated with poverty or haggardness. Sometimes we act as if to say that to be a Christian means to be poor. Are you listening? Yeah. So we have to correct that impression. Christianity is not a call to poverty. You don't look so haggard because you're worshiping God. You want people to know that you are fasting, you are praying. You will not take your bath. Or you purposely will allow your head to scatter. You'll be bending your head at angle 45. People asking you, brother, what's wrong? We are fasting today now. A child of God must be very neat. In fact, if you come to preach to me about Christ, I can assess you first. If you are not properly dressed and you are talking to me about Christ, to follow Christ, I say, if this is how people who follow Christ look like, then there's no need following you. So we must not identify Christianity with poverty. To be a Christian does not mean that we have to be lazy or subject ourselves to oppression and persecution. No. As Christians, we are equally called to contribute in sanitizing the society through hard work. Laborare est orare. To work is to pray.
Yes.
So don't say that you're a Christian that every time you are reading the Bible, in the morning you don't go to work. You are reading the Bible. You are praying from Monday to Thursday to Friday, every day, without going to work because you are asked to go and evangelize the whole world. You are no longer a Christian if you are behaving that way. So we have no reasons to cling to poverty by giving excuses of commitment to C.B.I.U activities. Yes, now every day they ask us to come to the church. I went to evangelization, I went to this and that. Those are not excuses. If you plan your program well, you still go for your daily activities and still make time to worship God. And apart from this part of the world, Bible studies often are in the evening. If you want to attend Bible study, you're ready to come for your day's activities. And in the evening you come. People around the bar and court, often the evening they start around that kind 6:37. By then, everybody has gone to work and come back. So you cannot say because you're a member of C.B.I.U, you use that as an excuse not to be very hardworking. Because what we are talking to us now as C.B.I.U Youths is not only within the Christian doctrine. We are addressing us globally speaking. We have to be relevant both to the church and to the world. So St. Paul in the second letter to Thessalonians discourages laziness, compared 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10, where he says, "Let he who refuses to work not eat." Being a C.B.I.U youth does not make you shy away from your responsibility to your parents or family, calling what you should have given to your parents cover. Compare Mark chapter 7 verse 11. Based on the above expositions, C.B.I.U youth should 1. Be hardworking and industrious. Hardworking and industrious. We are now going a little bit outside only praying now. We are talking globally speaking, how and what the C.B.I.U member, especially youth, should be able to do. Should be hardworking and industrious. You should embrace education. There's no limit to education. Don't say because you could not meet up when you are still your parents. No, education is an ongoing thing. I'm still a student now. Yes, after having about 4 degrees, BA in the seminary, I was ordained. I started for Jambo in 2009. I studied mathematics to BSc, studied mathematics MSc, and did mathematics PhD. I'm still a student. So don't give me any reason, because if you are not educated, you are losing yourself something. I'm not trying to say that those who don't have an opportunity, didn't have the opportunity, we are not blaming you, but I want to tell you can still do something, want it. Don't say I no longer young. There's one man, I think the man is 60-something years now. He had retired actually from active service and teaching at seminary, English. And then the man is still doing the program now at the University of C.B.I.U. So one day I was asking him, no, Papa, why are you still stressing yourself? I said, my brother, there is always joy in education. At the age of 60-something years, he went to pick form and did masters. He couldn't do when he was young. And he said, now all my children have grown up, I have lesser responsibility. I was so much motivated. So, because Nigeria will one day be better. And when you better, your qualifications will help you. Now, when we say, why should I go to school? Those who went to school, they have no job doing. Just get the certificate and keep it first. Time shall come when you go to bring it out. When people who understand the levels of education will come. So every senior member should struggle as much as possible to have basic education. Even if you have not opportunity to acquire that under your parents. Now you are doing your own. You can still do it because some of the programs are doing a weekend program now. Yeah, some universities run weekend program. Like today, I was telling him that I have to live here. I have a place I teach statistics in the university by 2 p.m. So if you go there, women, old men, those who are under civil service, they still want to upgrade themselves. So don't give any excuse, because we need educated members in this union. Because the world is, getting educated everywhere and definitely on that level of academics. Because time shall come when we shall be competing on the international level. And by then, I may no longer be there. These our brothers may not be there. It will be your own turn. So if you don't acquire this education well, you may not represent us well. So begin to plan about it if you have the opportunity. Entrepreneurship. Because sometimes why some of us are not moving well in C.B.I.U, they are not meeting up with your responsibilities, is that they have nothing doing. And some of us are still watching and waiting, applying to all the adverts in television and news. They are looking for white collar job. A background on AC and everything. That is wonderful. But there are little things that you can do around. Entrepreneurship. Do something, acquire that knowledge. From little things, begin to help yourself. And keep on growing. Stop being idle, waiting for so many years when you become a bank manager. That will be very wonderful. But you need C.B.I.U members, youths, forming cooperatives at different levels. As you gather here now, you are knowing one another gradually, each other. Maybe by the next year, or if it is 2 years something, you keep on seeing your friends and forming friendship, and also form cooperative at different levels. And with your cooperative society, you can access certain loans from the government or NGOs and use them to start one little business or the other, so that you be self-reliant. When you are not self-reliant, you expose yourself to dangers, especially our younger ones, the sisters. When you have nothing doing, you expose yourself to dangers, and before you know it, you lose your faith. So if you are within the same environment, like in Aba, Peppernock, Igwe, Port Harcourt, you can form little cooperatives and access certain loans and begin to do something. Are you following? We are talking about holistic human development. We are not talking about Bible alone now. Some of us are afraid to go into agriculture. Agriculture is no longer at the level of using your hoe and knife, cutting and cultivating. Some people are into agriculture now without going to the field. And the aspect of agribusiness. Are you following? I'm also an agriculturalist. I'm into agriculture. So what happens, especially in Nigeria, sometimes we overlook some of those things. Hey, how do I go into the field and begin to cultivate again now? You may not go. Some people are into agriculture, they are investing the money with other people, and they are getting this share. And so at the end of the day, they get their own dividend, and they are growing and moving. There is also nothing wrong with going to it. Okay, like yesterday, I woke up yesterday in the morning. So my spirit told me, because the spirit says that cassava, that 5 plus of cassava belongs to ICS seminar again. He said, which one? I said, the one I cultivated. Anytime you are ready, come, I will show you. Immediately it came, I said it. Somebody will say, I've not even told my mother, because she was one of those who was doing wedding there. I've not even told her. I know if I tell them, say, I remember that thought came, I don't know, but once it came, I said, you give it to them. One, that vitamin A cassava is rich. It improves the brain. And the idea is that I will also want to give them some of the stems so that they can cultivate it. So my spirit asked me to do that, and I do it. If I want to sell it, I will make money. So don't be afraid of going into agriculture and agribusiness. There are other areas, other aspects. And the level of agriculture now has gone to say, I don't have enough land. I think I don't know what they call it, hydroponic something of agriculture. You can, growing agriculture without the soil. In containers, you can make tons of tomatoes, this little space. So agriculture, I can't find that I don't have enough space. No. If you go into training, you see all these things and begin to use them. They think that our governments this side, they are not interested in helping us. Those money are there, they put it. If you go to North, they are investing in agriculture. And young graduates are making money. Even there, whatever you produce, the government will buy it over, even pay you excess to encourage you at the northern side. But here, they don't even give us. I remember we were in our agricultural program in the diocese. Then there was a synergy between the Abia State government and the Diocese of Umuahia in 2009, 2010. So I was appointed as bank manager. Some this thing were released, what we call it, tractor, for local farmers in Abia State. Most of them didn't even come down here, they were sold. They come on this way and and they go dinner. One man within Abia State. But God will deliver his people. Amen. So, in all these things, when you are doing all these things, you are carrying the tenets of the gospel to the nook and crannies of the world. Through agriculture, through academics, through entrepreneurship and cooperative, you are still sanitized because your presence in such gatherings will sanitize them. You don't lose the sight or the fact that you are a Christian, a C.B.I.U member. You go there still with the presence and tenets of the gospel to sanitize society. When something is going wrong, you say, no, this is against my faith. This is an opportunity. That's your pulpit there to evangelize. Above all, every C.B.I.U member should be prayerful. It is very common today, even among the younger generation, filling the so-called prayer houses and spiritual houses. Young people running, and looking for the pastor or the man of God to prophesy on them, to see visions on them, telling them how the mothers or the second wife, and other things, how Mona deliver you. That was the mind of the founder when he organized those things. They are very proud. So use them and stop, frequenting all these prayer houses. Okay. There's nothing wrong in our developing meaningful relationships among ourselves. Now we have been brought together. It will be very wonderful in the future begin to see C.B.I.U brothers marrying C.B.I.U sisters. So you see the faith is being transmitted from you to your children. But sometimes we gather together in our branch. Sometimes our brother with the sister, the way you are dressing is not good. This is C.B.I.U. You are dressing like a university or campus girl. Dress like a C.B.I.U member. Stop using curtains. Stop making up. The one will also listen to you. But when you the brother want to marry, you go to the university and marry. Marry a campus versus. Allowing them there. And some are there aging. When they were trying to look good and pretty, you condemn them, you criticize them. Then they begin to dress well, as simple as one. Then when you want to marry, you look at her, sister, then you go to the campus where they dress like this, and you go and pick somebody to marry. So there's nothing wrong when we look within ourselves. Within ourselves does not mean only in the same branch, no. Bringing us together now makes us know ourselves. We can go into healthy Christian relationships. Are you following? The days are gone when a brother, a sister wants to visit a brother. He said, the other sister, come let us go and see this my friend. Before the members of CBIU see me and say, I'm going to brother's place. That was before. Because even if the world has gone so digital, if you don't have self-control, even when 20 people are there, people can now arrange with the phone and meet outside the town. But when you train yourself well and have self-control, you know that you can have a healthy relationship. So I'm proposing for that healthy relationship among us. That we can be friendly to each other, bearing in mind the teaching of Christ, respecting each other's body. And from there, it can lead to something serious in the future. We can, talk about marriage, where brothers and sisters are married. And once this is a member of C.B.I.U to the core, the husband, the wife, the same thing, the children also will imbibe that spirit of C.B.I.U, and the number will be growing and increasing. And also, the other way around, when I'm talking about marriage, I also talk about call to religious life and priesthood ordination. As I told you earlier, as Brother Siri said, I was once like people without a priest. We are not so many who are members of C.B.I.U priest. We are looking forward to that. It can also come from us. Those who have that gift, those who have that charisma, those who have that vocation, can do the part of the priesthood. Also, bearing in mind how to be relevant to C.B.I.U. So that in the future we have many religious, men and female, many priests who are members of C.B.I.U. So that just as we are having the national summit now, we can decide in the future to have a national summit for all the members of C.B.I.U priests and religious, discussing the affairs of C.B.I.U. It can only come from us. I am not sufficient, I'm not enough. We are only few who are priests, members of C.B.I.U who started C.B.I.U before going to the seminary. Some of them you are seeing, so we know my diocese now over the province, are people I met to be members of C.B.I.U in the Synod seminary. And they started to become priests. You can't compare them to one who has that foundation from the beginning. Are you following? So we have the foundation from the beginning here now. So when any of us here goes to religious life or priestly life, you are a full-blown product of C.B.I.U. There's nothing that happens in C.B.I.U I don't know. If I'm talking about C.B.I.U program, you know that I've been a member. Some people who met in the seminary, do the seminary formation, we are not allowed to leave out everything about C.B.I.U. Even our prayer meeting is cut short because the program is C.B.I.U. But if you have opportunity now, you are from the age of 13, 14, going on, and you become a member of C.B.I.U, and maybe in the future you become a priest or a religious, like sister. Nobody will tell you the story about C.B.I.U. You know everything about C.B.I.U. They can never defend C.B.I.U activity anywhere. I'm not enough, I know. Trying to be creative, good. Like when I came in, even though I noticed one or two younger ones in the band, and on the 11th of July, we went for St. Benedict Feast at 3 years back. I see that small boy who was playing the drum. That was very wonderful. But also, I noticed Some of the people I'm seeing in the band are people who have been there even in the 80s. Are you following? I don't say that they should leave it, but the younger generation should be interested. Because one day now, with time, the next 10 years, some of them you see will no longer be here. Not that they are there, no, but age will no longer allow them to be very much active. And it cannot only be the two young ones I've seen. So what I'm saying is that in trying to be creative, CBIU members, don't say I don't have time to learn the man, but you have time to press your phone for the whole night. Some of you have power bank 2 or 3, extra batteries. So once NEPA takes light, you switch over to the power bank. You are chatting all through the night. Why can't you make that time, even in this 1 hour a week, you join the band and begin to learn how to play? Wouldn't you be happy to be playing the band and the other instruments while worshiping God? Before normally I started moving. You know, yeah, music can move you, can make you to move, easily when you are meditating about God. So I saw them singing and meeting. Initially, I wanted to ask whether you have stopped clapping. So I wanted to ask that before brother Series started getting stand up. Initially, the band was playing, they were just standing like that. Nobody was clapping. I said, maybe CBIU has also stopped clapping. Before I was considering for brothers, asked them, at least, we have the way we do our own clapping, and it was moving. They really moving with the beating, and we are worshiping Christ. So in creativity, I encourage you, members of CBIU, to anywhere you find yourself, try to learn these things, learn keyboard, learn guitar, learn the drum, learn how to sing. Some have the voice, but they need to be trained on how to use the voice and sing well. So that in any branch we still have, I don't know, most of the branches no longer even have a gospel band. Some who have, they have nobody to play because nobody is learning. The idea should be that any particular instrument will have a minimum of 2 persons or 3 playing the same instrument. So that when this one is not there, the other person will also be there. Sometimes you come at a gathering, the time I was doing my adoration, identify with other social associations to hook up to the trend of time get enlightenment. For he who is not informed is a fool. There's nothing wrong in joining social organizations. You go, they study enlightenment, they tell you about banking, they tell you about investment, they tell you about things. You learn them and perfect and improve yourself. Don't say because you're a member of CBIU, everything you should know is only Bible. Every time you don't want to associate with people, you become a social recluse. You come to where people are. You are in the midst of people, yet you are alone. Because you have limited yourself, restricted yourself to a certain place alone. Anything you can talk is only Bible. It's good. But the Bible, you have the Bible, my bishop will say, to evangelize, you have the Bible at the right hand, you have also the newspaper here. That means social media or media and the Bible. You compare. But the Bible interprets what happens in social society also interprets the scripture. So you marry the two and you become balanced in life. So try to identify with the society and know where you have to limit yourself in that relation with society. Know how to interact with society so that you can be balanced anywhere you are called. You come to CBIU, you can talk. If you are called in society, in the village, the marketplace, you can also talk because you are balanced. In conclusion, before that conclusion, I want to advise you, don't joke with your health. You talk about men's sanu, incorporate sanu. A healthy mind, and a healthy body. So, talk about physical exercises, talk about sports. There is nothing wrong with having a member of CBIU who is a champion, a footballer, an expert in footballing or other sports. There's nothing wrong with having a member of CBIU who can play on tennis well and go to the international level. He will go there, he meet some people from other world and talking to them about CBIU. Don't think because you're a member of CBIU, everything you do now is only running within the national headquarters here and within your parish or your diocese. Meet the world and let the world meet you and be balanced to know where the world is trying to infringe on your faith and stand firm to it and say, no, I can't cross to this level. But try to influence the world around you and influence people around you. So in conclusion, usefulness is only a stage to growth and development. It can, however, be delicate. we need to handle this stage with carefulness as earthenware. Brethren, the efforts of our father founder, Very Reverend Father Benedict Nwolu, of the blessed memory, will never be in vain. Once again, Cicero, philosopher, says that the education or harnessing of the young is the pivot for continuity of any empire. We should see ourselves as the fathers and mothers in C.B.I.U. and work towards actualizing that. We should be preoccupied with how to make the union better. Thank you.